Hey, I'm John from White Cloud Workshop, and today I'm going to make this curled lip Pohutukawa bowl. So I've got this beautiful piece of Pohutukawa. It's got these lovely spalting going on here, but it's also got some pretty deep holes here and one here through, so probably will end up significantly thinner than that, but that's alright. This particular piece was given to me by Bob Yandel, so thanks Bob, much appreciated. I've mounted it on a faceplate because it's pretty heavy. Pohutukawa is quite a dense wood, and with it being wet, it just adds to the weight. I start by getting it round and then shaping the bottom, getting rid of the void so I can see what I'm dealing with. As it's still quite wet, my aim is to make a thin-sided bowl which will dry quickly. If I can dry it correctly, hopefully it won't warp too much either. I shape the bottom and cut a spigot to fit a 100mm chuck. Pencil lines mark the widest part of the bowl, which is about 2/3 of the way up, following the rule of thirds. Now I can flip it around and start working on the top side. I flatten the face and start working on the curled lip of the bowl. I haven't done something like this before, so I really take time with the lip, just trying to get a nice curve inside that matches the outside and has the right proportions. I go back over it several times, just trying to find the right line to make it look aesthetically pleasing. I want to try and put a small bead on it too, just to give it that extra bit of detail. Once I'm happy with the lip, I can start removing the inside. Accidentally took out a big chunk out the side of the bowl when I was using a scraper to tidy it up. So because I took a big hunk out, I have to take a lot of the material off here. But it actually is better for the bowl, I think. Anyway, it's going to be a better shape. I thought it was getting a bit too thick in here, so I think it's better overall. Anyway. Because of my off-camera stuff up, I need to reshape the bottom again. So I cut a spigot on the inside which will allow me to flip it back over. I reshape the bottom until I'm happy with the new shape. I put some Ondina oil on to help with the sanding and prevent heat cheeks. I use a bent hollowing tool to get in that awkward spot, right under the lip of the bowl. I swap between this and my bowl gouge to remove the rest of the inside. I've got this brilliant little Monroe light which magnetically clips to the tool rest, which really helps when I'm deep inside the bowl. I use a negative rake scraper to help me get that perfect smooth curve on the inside. A little bit more sanding and that's pretty much done. To tidy up the bottom, I use a faceplate covered with some yoga mat foam. My original aim was to put feet on the bottom, but I was so focused on getting the curved lip right that I ended up going too deep into the bowl and almost went through the bottom. It's only a few millimeters thick at the bottom, so there's no way I can put feet on now, which is a shame. It's just going to have a standard bottom, which ruins the shape a little bit, but that's how it goes sometimes. I use a coping saw to remove the tenon and tidy up the bottom with some sanding. As the wood is still wet, I'm going to put this in a plastic bag to stop it from drying out too fast and cracking. I'll turn the bag inside out every 2 to 3 days and weigh it every time. Once it stops losing weight, then I'll know it's dry. There's a lot of different ways to dry wood. This is just one method that I'm familiar with. So it's been about 3 months now. It stopped losing weight, so it's pretty much completely dry. I've left it sort of in this bag with the bag kind of half open for about the last 2 or 3 weeks just to completely stabilize it. From far away it looks completely fine. But if you feel it here, you can feel sort of some raised spots, you know, where it's warped a little bit. There's even quite a big section where it's sort of completely buckled inwards. So it's a bit weird, but you know, it's one of those things when you're dealing with wet wood, it is going to have some movement. I'm not really sure how I feel about that, but you know, that's just part of it. It does add a bit of interest when you pick it up. You can feel those spots there. But what I'm going to do now is just sand it up to about 800 grit and then start putting some Danish oil on it. I've done all my sanding, which was actually really time consuming off the lathe. Now it's time for some Danish oil. My congealed oil didn't leave a great finish, so I thought I would give it a quick buff once I'd removed most of the Canuba wax from my buffing wheel. This was a mistake though, as the bowl got so shiny it started looking like plastic.
After considering my options, I cut back the finish with some steel wool and just gave it some beeswax on the top, which gave it a nice warm luster. Have a look.
So I had a few stuff ups along the way, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. It's a beautiful piece of wood, and as soon as I put some finish on that, it really popped. I haven't done this type of curled lip before, so I'm really happy with how that came out, and the little bead there just really adds that extra bit of detail. I did end up going a bit thinner than I wanted. If you hold it up to the light, you can actually see the light going through one of the bark sort of voids there. But the cool thing is it just makes it super light. The only thing that I feel lets it down is the shape coming down. My original plan was to put 3 little feet on the bottom there, but I just went too deep when I was hollowing it out, so I couldn't do that. Otherwise, if I'd done that, it would have had this perfect curve straight through the bottom, which would have been perfect. But that's how it goes sometimes when you're learning and trying new things, so I'll just try and be better next time. That's all for now, but thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Click like and subscribe if you did, otherwise I'll see you next time.